It's free now. Welcome to leave a message in the comments section. If there are many comments, we will add more. Jiang Yanming traveled to a major female protagonist she was chasing, and became a vicious fake daughter who died until the end of the chapter. Given the powerful character of the female protagonist Jiang Yunxian in the book, as well as her tragic ending of being dismembered, Jiang Yanming decided to establish a good relationship with the female protagonist. Snatching male leads. The male lead, Ji Hongsu, is the CP of the Fine Cloud Trick, Flying Stars Spread Hate group that she dares not touch. She is just a fake heiress, but she dare not touch the real heiress Jiang Yunxian, so it's better to live an honest life and wait for death to suit her. Result. Big brother. Who do you like? I'll snatch it from you. Second brother. Don't worry, with my brother here, as long as you don't die, there will be a way to save it. Third brother. Yen, brother has money, spend whatever you want. Jiang Yunxian. Go away, Yen belongs to me. Former villain male second brother Ji Hongsu. Hong to Yen, Su to Ming, where do you want to go? Keywords of the novel. After washing white through books, become a group pet in the arms of the villainous prince without pop-ups. After washing white through books, become a group pet in the arms of the villainous prince. Download the complete text. After washing white through books, become a group pet in the arms of the villainous prince. Latest chapters for reading. Chapter 1. Wearing books becomes a malicious supporting actress. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Wearing books becomes a malicious supporting actress. Yanming, please accept this land deed. As soon as Jiang Yanming opened his eyes, he saw a handsome uncle looking at him kindly, holding a few pieces of paper in his hand. Jiang Yanming was a bit confused. She had just been scrolling through a novel in bed when suddenly her eyes turned black and she inexplicably arrived at this place. Surrounded by ancient-style decorations, it seems like an ancient mansion. Even if Yunxian comes back, you will still be my father's daughter. Cloud Fiber. Yanming. Isn't this the name from the novel she's reading? Rebirth of a True Daughter and Pursuing a Career is a popular female lead article that Jiang Yanming has been reading. The female lead in it, Jiang Yunxian, is a true heiress left behind by the Jiang family. However, in her past life, she was an undisputed tycoon who knew almost everything. After being recognized by the Jiang family, he relied on his own skills to start his career, and his industry spread throughout the North Xian kingdom. Occasionally, he would lose his armor and give a slap in the face. The Jiang family also gradually accepted this true daughter, and in the end, the male and female leads were together, achieving a happy ending. And Jiang Yanming, the malicious female supporting character of this book, is also a fake daughter of the Jiang family. She has been risking her life, going crazy against the female protagonist, until she is ultimately destroyed by the female protagonist Dao. When Jiang Yanming first read this, he had some heart attacks. After all, he had the same name and surname as himself. So she complained lightly in the comments section. If Jiang Yanming guesses well, isn't she traveling? Wearing it on a malicious female companion with the same name and surname in the book. Jiang Yanming instinctively glanced around and saw the girl sitting next to Jiang's father. The girl was dressed in a thin blue robe, but she had bright eyes and white teeth, skin like condensed fat, and black hair like a waterfall, full of beautiful embryos. Beauty critical hit, Jiang Yanming almost drooled. Sure enough, the female lead is similar to what is described in the book. Beautiful little sister, who doesn't like it? In the original plot, the protagonist launched a personal attack on the female protagonist Jiang Yunxian, including her attire and etiquette, but the only thing he dared not target was her appearance. Yanming, hurry up and sign it. Jiang's father's words brought Jiang Yanming back to her senses. She instinctively wanted to sign the land deed, but the plot in her mind made her stop writing. According to the plot, Jiang's father knew the nature of the original owner and, in order to compensate him, transferred several villages outside the city to the original owner. But the original owner still didn't give up and found his third brother Jiang Zishua to drive the female lead out of the Jiang family. As the elder brother who dotes on the original owner, Jiang Zishua certainly helps this sister who has been raised for 16 years to target his own biological sister. Then San-gu defected to the enemy. Surrender to the enemy. It's just a few chapters, and the original protagonist's third brother has transformed into the shape of the female protagonist. For Jiang Yanming, this Xuangzi cannot be taken. She didn't sign a land deed, it was a talisman. Those who sign will be destroyed by humanity. Xuangzi is the instigator of the third brother's rebellion. If Xuangzi doesn't assign it to her, the third brother who is engaged in business outside may not be able to come back. With this in mind, Jiang Yanming put down his pen and firmly said, "I cannot sign." Why? Jiang's father advised him, "Yanming, although you are not your father's daughter, it is a kind of fate that you and my father and daughter have been together for so many years. These Chuang Tzu take it as your compensation. How about you tell Yunxian about sisters later?" Jiang Yunxian remained cold throughout the entire process and remained silent. Even before being sent to the Jiang mansion, she had heard about the reputation of being the first daughter of the capital. Most of the rumors circulating outside are about Jiang Yanming's bad reputation, and Jiang Yunxian has no objections to this. After all, as an outsider, it is not good to draw conclusions without understanding her. But when she was brought back to the government office by her father Jiang, she realized that the rumors were true. This daughter of the Jiang family is indeed quite annoying. At this moment, Jiang Yanming did not know that the original protagonist had already left a bad impression on the female protagonist with his own abilities. In the original plot, due to so many years of emotional attachment, the original owner chose to stay. And the female protagonist, who is truly a rich woman, is seen by the original protagonist as a lowly person who has taken away her own life. The original owner did not feel at all wrong, and then began to act like heaven and earth, brushing his sense of existence, ultimately being destroyed by humanity. Don't worry, Yanming. Even if Yunxian comes back, you will still be the most beloved daughter of the Duke's mansion, and there won't be any change in this. Jiang Guogong looked at Jiang Yunxian and said, "Yunxian, remember to make way for your sister at the Jiang family." "No, cheap dad, can you grow dim sum? Can you say that?" Jiang Yunxian raised her eyes, with a hint of amusement in her icy and snowy eyes. "I'm at my own house, and I still want an outsider." In her past life, she had never felt what family affection was, so she naturally didn't need to be reborn. But why is there heartache? Upon hearing this, Duke Jiang frowned and said, "How did you speak, kid?" Apologize to Yanming quickly. If we follow the original owner's rebellious nature, we will definitely take advantage of it and mock Jiang Yunxian in various ways. However, Jiang Yanming is currently here. No need, these are meant to belong to my sister. Jiang Yanming didn't pay much attention to what he said. Jiang's father looked at Jiang Yanming suspiciously and said, "This doesn't seem like your temperament." Hiss. According to the malicious character of the original owner, it seems impossible to say such words, so the next step is to showcase her acting skills. Jiang Yanming blinked, a hazy mist enveloping her eyes. "Dad, my daughter used to make many mistakes relying on the daughter of the Jiang family, but now she is no longer from the Jiang family, so we can't continue to make mistakes. She gave herself a perfect score for this performance." Jiang's father was momentarily taken aback, and then he said with satisfaction, "Yanming is sensible now. Children who are not sensible will be destroyed by humanity," Jiang Yanming secretly slandered. "So I don't want these Xuangzi anymore." Jiang Yanming firmly pushed back the land deed. Jiang Yunxian lifted his head and glanced at Jiang Yanming. It seems that this fake daughter is somewhat different from the rumors in the market. Jiang Guogong advised, "Keep it. Your third brother's family has a great business, and they are not inferior to these few Xuangzi." "Yes, He's not bad, but as soon as everyone in these villages changed, he rushed back to investigate and found out that he became someone from the female protagonist's side. Jiang Yanming hesitated for a long time, but finally held the land deed in his hand. Then I'll accept it. Jiang Yunxian withdrew his gaze. Did this reveal his true nature? Indeed, one cannot hold too much hope for the wicked daughter. Jiang Yunxian's face gradually turned cold as she thought this way. However, at this moment, Jiang Yanming placed the land deed in front of her. Sister, please keep it. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Even the willows dare and the flowers dare, there is no village. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Even the willows dare and the flowers dare, there is no village. What is this doing? Jiang Yunxian didn't understand and a hint of doubt appeared on her face. Since it's given to me, then it's not a problem for me to give it to my sister, right? Jiang Yanming said, sister just came back and didn't have anything to stand by. Isn't that why those noble women in the capital would mock her? Now that my sister is the daughter of the Jiang family, she represents the face of the Jiang family. We cannot let my sister ruin the reputation of the Duke's mansion alone. Jiang Yanming's words are sincere, and in fact, she also thinks the same way. As long as you don't offend the female lead, anything you do is worth it. In the setting, the female protagonist will accept all kindness due to bad experiences in her past life. After careful consideration, Jiang Yanming made a decision. Dad, why don't you send me to my second brother's place? My second brother is a descendant of the divine Dr. Valley, and my mother Jiang is also a descendant of the divine Dr. Valley. Speaking of the divine Dr. Valley, it can be said that it is the least scientific existence in this book. In ancient times, there was no DNA testing technology, but Jiang Yanming was still exposed as a fake daughter, all thanks to the efforts of the divine Dr. Valley. Even if Jiang Yunxian could return to the Jiang family, it was her mother's senior brother who found her. The method of detecting blood vessels in Shini Valley is the most flawed aspect of this book and an important factor in the development of the plot. Otherwise, even if held incorrectly in ancient times, it would be difficult to discover. The reason why Jiang Yanming went to the divine Dr. Valley is because both in the book and in the original owner's memory, it was her second brother Jiang Zishu who treated her the best. Moreover, the divine Dr. Valley is far from the secular world, and the female protagonist's visit to the divine Dr. Valley is already a plot in the later stage. At that time, she had already avoided the fate of being destroyed by humanity, so the divine Dr. Valley was a good place to temporarily avoid the spotlight of the female protagonist. Plan pass square root, are you going to the divine Doctor's Valley? Jiang Yanming nodded repeatedly. Jiang Guogong pondered for a moment and said, Yanming is sensible now. Let Uncle Nan take you there. Jiang Yanming was somewhat complacent. If he didn't understand, he would be destroyed by humanity. Under the pressure of the situation, if he didn't understand, he had to understand. Goodbye, sister. I'll stay in the divine Dr. Valley for a few years. Wait until you forget about me, I'll come back. When leaving, Jiang Yanming didn't forget to say hello to Jiang Yunxian. Jiang Yunxian was holding those few land deeds, feeling inexplicably complicated in her heart. Jiang Yanming packed up his things and left as soon as he said. Uncle Nan is an old servant left by Jiang's mother, who came out of the divine Dr. Valley with her. Only he knows how to get to the divine Dr. Valley in the entire Jiang mansion. Miss, it takes about 7 days to travel from the imperial capital to the divine Doctor's Valley with a swift horse. It's not a big problem, let's just take a look at the scenery. Anyway, just avoid the halo of the female lead. Jiang Yanming brought a package and a maid of peach blossoms and willows, boarded the carriage, and left this dangerous place with the female lead. Perhaps due to psychological effects, Jiang Yanming felt that the air around her had become much fresher and refreshed after leaving the imperial capital where the female protagonist was located. The original owner had already obtained the qualification of being a disciple of the divine Dr. Valley, so her return is reasonable and legal. Jiang Yanming hummed a cheerful tune, feeling happy. Even if the mountains and rivers are heavy and there is no way out, far away from the female protagonist, it is not like the willows are hidden and the flowers are bright. The carriage suddenly came to a stop, and Jiang Yanming almost lost his seat and fell. "Uncle Nan, why did it suddenly stop?" Jiang Yanming asked in confusion. "Miss, a person has emerged from the bushes ahead and is now fainting in front of our carriage." "Oh." Jiang Yanming was curious and lifted the curtain of the carriage. "Who is it?" "Third Prince, Prince Shen, Ji Hongsu." "Who are you talking about?" "Prince Shen, Ji Hongsu." Jiang Yanming put down the curtain expressionlessly and said, "Well, the carriage will run over and kill him." Ji Hongsu, this name is simply a nightmare for Jiang Yanming today. Ji Hongsu is portrayed as the villainous boss in the original book, and the reason why Jiang Yanming is afraid of Ji Hongsu is because he is the one who later humanely destroyed her in the original plot. She and Ji Hongsu, a small villain and a big villain, ended up with a tragic ending. Jiang Yanming was about to cry, thinking of avoiding the female lead. Why did she encounter the villainous boss again? This time, the willows are dark and the flowers are bright, and there is no village. The mountains, rivers, and roads are all blocked. Upon hearing Jiang Yanming's words, Uncle Nan was startled and said, "Miss, are you joking?" Although Prince Shen is the adopted son of the Holy One today, he is also considered a member of the heavenly family. How could they have the courage to do such a thing to Prince Shen? "Oh, I'm really joking," Jiang Yanming said expressionlessly. Before Uncle Nan could breathe a sigh of relief, Jiang Yanming continued, "Is there a cliff near here?" "What?" Uncle Nan is confused. "Is there a cliff? Just throw it down and it's over. If we keep this person, we may give her a knife and give her a ride later. It's better to take advantage of her actions now and take away the person who might kill her first. She is cowardly towards the female lead because she has self-awareness and cannot compete with her halo. Is Ji Hongsu the villain or the villain who caused her death? Not killing him at such a good opportunity would be a disgrace to her character. Miss, think twice." "I'm not joking," Jiang Yanming said. "Peach red, willow green, get off the car. I'll watch for myself. This person must die. Quietly killing him before he wakes up can also make him walk more peacefully." According to the original owner's character, it is not impossible for a person to throw corpses halfway, but this person is Prince Shen, one of the most prestigious people under the emperor. Uncle Nan dare not, neither do Taohong and Lialv. They are all persuading Jiang Yanming. No, he must die today, even if the emperor comes. Jiang Yanming got off the car and decided to personally see off Ji Hongsu on the road. To be honest, the eyebrows and eyes of this villain are indeed quite attractive. Although they are a bit pale, they cannot conceal the face with perfect looks. "Unfortunately, if you weren't the one who destroyed me, I could have saved your life, but you have taken my life." "What do you mean, we can't keep you, can we?" I don't know if it's Jiang Yanming's luck or Ji Hongsu's bad luck. There's really a cliff around here. Jiang Yanming dragged the unconscious Ji Hongsu all the way to the top of the cliff. Uncle Nan and two maids tried to persuade him all the way, but to no avail. "Miss, are you crazy? That's His Highness Shen Wang. Miss, doing this must have her profound meaning. Since I can't persuade you, I have no choice but to join." If Jiang Yanming were exposed, they wouldn't be able to survive either. Jiang Yanming dragged Ji Hongsu to the edge of the cliff and glanced down. "Very good, it's bottomless. Your Highness, I hope you leave peacefully. Don't be a villain in the next life." Jiang Yanming felt that this could also be considered as helping the male and female lead solve a potential threat, and perhaps he would be better off when he returned to the Jiang family after hiding from the limelight. "Goodbye, ah no, goodbye forever. Jiang Yanming was about to let go when his sleeve was grabbed. What do you want to do to this king? End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Once you come, take it easy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Once you come, take it easy. I'm so stupid, really. If I had known it would have turned into the current situation, should have directly crushed Ji Hongsu to death. At this moment, in the carriage of the Jiang family, Jiang Yanming lowered his head and looked unattainable, afraid to look at the man sitting beside him who seemed to be smiling but not smiling. I don't know, where did I offend Miss Jiang? Miss Jiang wants to kill me directly. Ji Hongsu's voice is very magnetic. If Jiang Yanming doesn't mind listening for a while as usual, but in this case, Jiang Yanming can clearly hear a hint of coldness hidden in Ji Hongsu's voice. Jiang Yanming shook her body and remained silent. Ji Hongsu squinted his eyes. He had also heard of the deeds of the daughter of the Duke's mansion. Although she was a rebellious daughter, she was not so bold as to directly plot against him as a prince, right? Jiang Yanming dared not look into Ji Hongsu's eyes, as she always felt like she would be seen through at any moment when she met him. Uncle Nan and Peach Blossom Willow Green are not in the carriage. They are both outside and dare not come in to disturb them. I hope Miss has good luck. In the carriage, Ji Hongsu knocked on his leg, unsure of what he was thinking. Although Ji Hongsu still looked disheveled, he had a strong and imposing demeanor that was tightly controlled. Jiang Yanming was amazed in her heart, truly the villainous ceiling in the original book. Miss Jiang, can you give me an explanation? Ji Hongsu asked again, and Jiang Yanming knew that she could no longer pretend to be a quail this time. Your Highness Shen Wang, how did you know that I was trying to harm you? Jiang Yanming quickly thought for a moment and began to tell lies seriously. Oh. So what do you want to do? Ji Hongsu's lips curved into a smile, and he wanted to see what excuse Miss Jiang could come up with. I was going to pull you up. You were about to fall at that time, and I had to put in a lot of effort to grab you. Jiang Yanming's reasoning is not straightforward, but his anger is strong, as if what he said is true. Ha, Ji Hongsu sneered, you are a bit different from the rumors outside. You are so skilled at telling lies when you open your eyes. Is it foolish to be the king? Ji Hongsu's aura only showed a hint, which frightened Jiang Yanming and made him tremble all over. This person is so dangerous. Under the slightly gloomy gaze of Ji Hongsu, Jiang Yanming was very nervous and dared not move. After careful consideration, Ji Hongsu realized that the daughter of the Jiang family did not have any motive to harm him, but it was an undeniable fact that she wanted to throw him off the cliff. So why is Jiang Yanming so afraid of him? Ji Hongsu buried this question in her heart and said calmly, I'll spare you for now. Remember, you owe me one life. Jiang Yanming said, yes. Good, whatever you say is fine. After Ji Hongsu woke up in time, Jiang Yanming knew that something had happened to her. She doesn't regret killing Ji Hongsu, she just regrets not killing him earlier. What a sin. She wasted a great opportunity. You are perfunctory to me, Ji Hongsu's unkind gaze swept over Jiang Yanming. No, how could that be? I have great respect for His Highness Prince Shen. Jiang Yanming is extremely sincere and eager to survive. Oh, respecting my king means plotting to harm me. Ji Hongsu glanced at Jiang Yanming, his eyes filled with 3 parts disgust, 3 parts disdain, and 4 parts disdain. The fan-shaped image in Ji Hongsu's eyes was clearly excessive, and Jiang Yanming gritted his teeth, afraid to speak due to the situation. It's all accidents. Ji Hongsu withdrew his gaze and said, I don't care. By the way, when will the divine Dr. Valley arrive? The reason why Ji Hongsu boarded Jiang Yanming's carriage was because he knew her destination was Shani Valley. He had suffered some serious injuries before and had to go to the Divine Doctor Valley for rest in order to recover quickly. This is also one reason why he temporarily spared Jiang Yanming. He needs someone to take him over. Otherwise, with his temperament, these few people who dared to treat him like this would have long been unaware of where they were buried. Ji Hongsu was unaware of the recent major events in the capital, and therefore did not know about the true or false wealth of the Jiang family. But even if he knew, he wouldn't care too much. After all, daring to treat him like this, Ji Hongsu, is the only rare species in the world now. Don't rush, it will arrive. When it comes to this, Jiang Yanming can only consider himself unlucky. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have cared about it. It would have been better for him to survive on the road than it is now. The female protagonist dodged, but then faced the villain. Jiang Yanming felt that her luck was a bit unlucky. Then act according to the situation. At night. Miss, are you really going to do this? Tao Hong was extremely shocked. In her eyes, her young lady's behavior of throwing Prince Shen off a cliff during the day was already outrageous enough. She didn't expect to continue to harass Prince Shen at night. Shoo, keep your voice down. Jiang Yanming quickly glanced at Ji Hongsu and found him motionless, sleeping soundly, before finally letting out a sigh of relief. It was my mistake not to kill him during the day. How can we not deal with him at such a good opportunity at night? But Mississippi. It is important to note that Master has a saying, once you come, be content with it. Ah. Tao Hong didn't understand what Jiang Yanming meant for a moment. Since you're here, let's bury yourself here. Peach Red, bring a knife. This dangerous guy must die here. Jiang Yanming, holding a knife, walked over to Ji Hongsu and compared with him a few times. However, at the critical moment, Jiang Yanming dared not take action. Let her, a young man with modern roots, start killing someone, but she can't do it. Previously, I dared to throw the antagonist boss off the cliff because of my great fear of him. At that time, I never thought about the consequences, and my mind was filled with fear of humanitarian destruction. But now it's different. Even if the person in front of her could potentially destroy her at any time in the future, she wouldn't be able to kill him. Jiang Yanming was very conflicted, with the knife in his hand sometimes extending forward and sometimes retracting backwards. Kill. Or not kill. In the original plot, Ji Hongsu is also a beautiful and tragic character, and her ending is not much better than her being destroyed by humanity. After being entangled for a long time, Jiang Yanming had a complex expression on her face. Good luck to you, Mississippi. I'll let you go this time. Since Ji Hongsu is not currently taking action against her, there is no need for her to target this guy too much. Anyway, as long as we deal with the female protagonist, we shouldn't be afraid of being targeted by the villainous boss. Jiang Yanming's face changed a few times, and with a flick of her sleeve, she left the place where Ji Hongsu slept. What Jiang Yanming didn't know was that just after she left with a knife, Ji Hongsu opened her eyes. The so-called called deep sleep does not exist from the beginning. Oh, it seems that she's still not honest. Well, since she didn't provoke me, I don't need to argue with her for now. The clenched fist slowly loosened. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. 1,000-year return martial arts practitioner. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. 1,000-year return martial arts practitioner. 6 days later, Jiang Yanming and his group arrived at the Divine Doctor Valley. In just 6 days, Ji Hongsu felt like he had met Jiang Yanming again. This daughter of the Jiang family is not as arrogant and domineering as rumored, but rather a bit foolish. Upon arriving at the Divine Doctor Valley, Jiang Yanming was extremely excited and instinctively glanced at Ji Hongsu. After being bullied by this man for so many days, I can finally turn over. Speaking of which, it's all tears. During the days Jiang Yanming and Ji Hongsu spent together, both of them have refreshed their impressions of each other. Jiang Yanming's impression of Ji Hongsu comes from the plot in the novel. The portrayal of Ji Hongsu in the book is a cunning and black-bellied old bai. But these days, Ji Hongsu's performance does not match the description of him in the book. Jiang Yanming felt like he was sent by heaven to conquer her. This person is just too stubborn. Due to her identity, she cannot resist and can only silently endure the oppression of Ji Hongsu. However, once you come to the Divine Doctor Valley, that's her territory. Your Highness, the Divine Doctor's Valley has arrived. Jiang Yanming smiled and welcomed Ji Hongsu down. Ji Hongsu squinted his eyes, and through his observations over the past few days, the woman couldn't calm down when she smiled. He doesn't mind playing with her. Jiang Yanming restrained his excitement and greeted the gatekeeper of the Divine Doctor Valley. "Hello, senior brothers." Her voice was sweet and she looked like a well-behaved girl. Ji Hongsu frowned slightly when he saw her like this. "It's Sister Jiang." Two gatekeepers greeted with a smile, and one disciple said, "Sister Jiang, are you coming to become our junior sister?" Jiang Yanming has obtained the status of a disciple in the Divine Doctor Valley, but has not yet officially entered the valley to become a disciple, so everyone in the Divine Doctor Valley calls her Jiang Mimi. Jiang Yanming nodded and looked at Ji Hongsu with provocative eyes. "Do you see that Miss Ben is covered here?" Ji Hongsu smiled, which made Jiang Yanming feel a bit scared. Here we go again, every time we encounter such a smile, it means she's going to be tricked. Jiang Yanming was 12 points vigilant. Even if this was her home ground, Ji Hongsu, this dog, couldn't say what he could do. Ji Hongsu approached two disciples. The two disciples didn't see Ji Hongsu before. Now seeing it, in Jiang Yanming's shocked gaze, he clasped his fists and saluted, "Senior brother." Ji Hongsu stood with his hand on his back and replied lightly, "Jiang Yan and Naruto are all foolish. This dog, is actually the senior brother of the Divine Doctor Valley. It's not even mentioned in the book. Miss Jiang seems to have some issues." Ji Hongsu turned her head and stared at Jiang Yanming. Jiang Yanming shrank her neck and said, "No, no." Jiang Yanming was so embarrassed that she wanted to find a crack in the ground to get in, and the 3-bedroom and 1 living room were almost dug out. Showing off her power on someone else's territory, she acted too well as a supporting actress. Fortunately, Ji Hongsu did not pay attention to her previous provocation. For him, the most important thing at the moment was to heal his injuries. Jiang Yanming successfully escaped a disaster. When they arrived at the Divine Doctor Valley, Uncle Nan and Peach Blossom Willow Green were not allowed to enter. So, under Jiang Yanming's reluctant gaze, the three of them left in a carriage. Jiang Yanming and Ji Hongsu entered the Divine Doctor Valley together. After the recent incident, Jiang Yanming didn't want to go with Ji Hongsu at all. But the path up the mountain in the Divine Doctor Valley is just like this, and she can only grit her teeth and follow Ji Hongsu up the mountain together. Ji Hongsu didn't care about the little tail behind him. What he cared most about was his own body. Quietly and awkwardly entering the Divine Doctor Valley, Ji Hongsu didn't say a word to Jiang Yanming halfway through, which made Jiang Yanming breathe a sigh of relief. In the Divine Doctor Valley, Jiang Yanming unexpectedly received a welcome from many disciples. Jiang Yanming had the memory of the original master and greeted these disciples. The original owner once gained the favor of most disciples of the Divine Doctor Valley by dressing well and having an advantage in his own appearance. Jiang Yanming did not want to give up on this. At least it can be considered an advantage that one can take advantage of. In the Divine Doctor Valley, Jiang Yanming met his second brother. Second brother. Jiang Yanming excitedly hugged Jiang Zishu, who doted on his sister's head. "Why did you arrive so late?" He had already received a letter from Jiang's father, but Jiang Yanming arrived a few days later than expected, which made him worried for a while. "Oh, didn't this save someone on the way?" Jiang Yanming smirked and glanced at Ji Hongsu from the corner of his eye. Ji Hongsu, how could you get involved with him? Jiang Zishu frowned and said, this guy is very dangerous. Try to stay with him as little as possible in the future. Well, there's no need for her brother to remind her, she already knew this was a dangerous person. At this moment, Jiang Yanming just wants to say to her dear second brother, brother, you're too late. Jiang Yanming told Jiang Zishu about his encounter with the severely injured Ji Hongsu, but of course, omitted the part about her murder of Prince Shen. Is that so? Jiang Zishu's furrowed brow relaxed, my sister is indeed kind-hearted. Jiang Yanming. Second brother, I'm afraid there may be some misunderstanding about the word, kind-hearted. In short, as our family, try to distance ourselves from him as much as possible. Oh, Jiang Yanming obediently replied. Let's go, I'll take you to find master. Jiang Yanming is very excited because he is about to start the main line of apprenticeship and learning. In the original plot, the medical skills of the Divine Dr. Valley are a bug that is comparable to the female protagonist's strength, completely detached from the existence of science. Jiang Yanming was naturally extremely excited to learn such medical skills. The Valley Master of the Divine Dr. Valley is a teacher father, with white hair and white eyebrows and whiskers, looking like a virtuous person. When Jiang Zishu arrived with Jiang Yanming, Ji Hongsu was already here. It is indeed a means of the western regions. The teacher is treating His Highness Prince Shen. The Poison Valley in the western regions and the Divine Dr. Valley in the northern Xian Kingdom are world enemies, and it is not surprising that Ji Hongsu, as the eldest disciple, was targeted by the western regions. However, Ji Hongsu didn't think so. He always felt that being assassinated was a conspiracy. Although Ji Hongsu was only the emperor's adopted son, his identity was also a thorn in the eyes of many people. There are too many people who want to kill him, and Jiang Yanming, who is blatant, is the first time I have seen him. When Ji Hongsu was examining the wound, Jiang Yanming was brought in. Master, I brought my younger sister over. Okay. The teacher touched his beard and laughed happily. After so long, there are finally female disciples in the valley again. So, Hongsu, please stay here for a while and let me test your junior sister's martial arts talent as a teacher. Shini Valley also has martial arts secrets. A doctor who can't fight, what kind of doctor is that? Jiang Yanming hid behind Jiang Zishu, afraid to see Ji Hongsu. Why did you meet this guy again? Now Jiang Yanming saw Ji Hongsu awkwardly and immediately followed her teacher's father as he wanted to test his martial arts talent. Jiang Yanming didn't know what the principle was, and the teacher's father just reached out and patted her shoulder a few times to get the result. How about it? My sister must be very talented, right? Jiang Zishu looked curiously at his teacher. Jiang Yanming also looks forward to it very much. Although she is not a boy, whether she is male or female, she will not let go of being able to soar over the eaves and walls to complete her martial arts dream, right? The teacher's father's expression was somewhat indescribable. Well, how to put it, Miss Yanming, your talent for practicing martial arts is indeed a once-in-a-millennium opportunity. Once in 1,000 years. Jiang Yanming, Jiang Zishu, and Ji Hongsu, who seemed to be watching calmly, were all shocked, especially Ji Hongsu. Does this silly little thing have such a strong talent? Ji Hongsu had some doubts and only listened to the teacher's father continuing, however, there may be some misunderstandings in your understanding. The little girl's talent is once in 1,000 years, but... End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Man is not gold. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Man is not gold. The teacher's father's expression was somewhat subtle. I have never seen a body with such poor bones before. Jiang Yanming felt an arrow pierced her chest. That's not even a talent for practicing martial arts. Jiang Yanming felt like she had been stabbed with a second arrow. It's just a waste of firewood. Jiang Yanming felt like her heart was about to be punctured. Jiang Zishu was also stunned after listening to his teacher's series of heartfelt words. Master. Is it so outrageous? Jiang Zishu was very skeptical. Did his sister really be so useless? The teacher withdrew his thin hand and shook his head. Let me put it this way, the little girl is completely unsuitable for practicing martial arts. Whatever she does has a better future than practicing martial arts. Jiang Yanming. Thank you, my heart is already riddled with wounds. Jiang Yanming remembered that the setting of the female protagonist in the original book was the ceiling of her strength, but just give up using force. Since there is no hope, don't stick to it. Fortunately, the Divine Dr. Valley does not value human roots and bones. The talent for practicing martial arts is only an additional condition, and the most important thing is the talent for medical skills. The original owner had already passed the test of the Divine Dr. Valley in this regard, so although he could not practice martial arts, Jiang Yanming was not too sad, just a bit disappointed. Woo woo woo, my martial arts dream was stifled in the bud before it even began. Haha. Ji Hongsu, who had been watching, let out a light smile. Jiang Yanming glared at him and met his smiling eyes. Underneath the smile lies an unpredictable coldness. Jiang Yanming quickly turned her head away, not wanting to meet Ji Hongsu's eyes. Ah, the little girl is not suitable for practicing martial arts at all. It's better to cultivate medical skills. As he spoke, the teacher took out a somewhat torn yellow book from his sleeve and said, the content of the book should be recorded as much as possible, and I will check it periodically. Jiang Yanming borrowed a book, feeling bitter in his heart. After crossing time, she still needs to recite. Why is she so unlucky? After receiving the book, Jiang Yanming and Jiang Zishu left their teacher's residence. The teacher checked Ji Hongsu's injuries again. You have suffered some serious injuries and need to rest. Ji Hongsu shook his head and said, Master, you know my situation. I must hurry back to the capital. If you want to be fast, then you must personally make the medicine for the teacher. Excuse me, Master. Jiang Yanming has settled down in the Divine Dr. Valley. Inheriting the connections of the original owner, Jiang Yanming lived a relatively comfortable life in the Divine Dr. Valley. Although there are many people in Shuni Valley, not everyone is the disciple of the teacher's father. Including her, she is the youngest disciple among the teacher's father's 5 disciples. At the same time, she is also the only female disciple of the teacher's father. There are not many women in the valley, and young girls like her are even rarer. In addition, Jiang Yanming is not the original owner and does not have a domineering personality. Some are as obedient as the neighboring sister. Therefore, she is very popular among the disciples in the valley and can be said to be a group pet. Of course, Jiang Yanming is not gold and cannot be liked by everyone. There are always some people who can't stand her for inexplicable reasons, but Jiang Yanming doesn't care too much. Jiang Yanming came here to seek refuge and learn art. Jiang Yanming has the memory of the original owner and has a certain foundation in understanding medical skills. Nevertheless, she still had some difficulty studying the medical books given to her by her teacher and father. The obscure and difficult to understand content is one aspect, but the most crucial aspect is she doesn't quite recognize words. In the past, she used to read in simplified Chinese characters, but now that she has traveled through time, of course, she uses traditional Chinese characters. Although the original owner recognized these characters, for Jiang Yanming, simplified characters are still more convenient to use. Jiang Yanming reluctantly learned some, but during the teacher's father's random inspection, Jiang Yanming stumbled and barely passed the teacher's father's inspection. Little girl, have you studied seriously? The teacher's father has a face full of dark clouds. Although he is usually a kind old man, when it comes to teaching, he will transform into a strict teacher. Jiang Yanming shrunk his neck and said, Master, your book is not very easy to understand. Well, this is a classic book passed down from ancient times. It's normal if you can't understand it. The little girl has not yet reached her hair, making it difficult for her to read these things. Jiang Yanming. Then don't let me read it. Classical Chinese has always been her most disliked thing. As if understanding Jiang Yanming's thoughts, the teacher's father touched his beard and said, "All right, I'm going on a trip soon. Can you help me make medicine?" Hey! Can I really do it? Did she just get started without mastering the theory? As long as you have a prescription for being a teacher, you can definitely do it. The teacher handed the prescription to Jiang Yanming, and when Jiang Yanming looked at it, it was indeed not difficult, but it took her some time to read it clearly. The handwriting of the teacher's father is as unsightly as a ghost talisman, and she had to put in a lot of effort to understand it. After handing over the prescription to Jiang Yanming, the teacher's father left. Jiang Yanming went to grab the medicine with a prescription. Well, 1 cent for cordyceps sinensis. 1 cent for horse money. The process of dispensing medicine was very difficult, and in the end, the disciple in charge of the pharmacy helped her read the prescription and dispense the medicine. Carrying the medicine, Jiang Yanming walked towards the room where the medicine was cooked. Jiang Yanming didn't notice that after she left the pharmacy, 2 sneaky tails followed her to the small room where she cooked medicine. At this moment, there was no one in the medicine room. Jiang Yanming entered the room and began to cook medicine. Jiang Yanming fanned the small fan and sat next to the clay pot, holding her cheeks, staring blankly at the jumping small fire of the decoction. Ah! Jiang Yanming yawned, and the work of decocting medicine was quite boring. However, she cannot leave her duty without permission, even though it is currently a slow-burning process. This decoction must be constantly monitored. Coincidentally, at this moment, Jiang Yanming suddenly felt a burst of abdominal pain. Without considering so much, Jiang Yanming confirmed that there was no problem with the medicine and rushed directly to the thatched cottage. After Jiang Yanming hurriedly left, the 2 figures arrived at the seat where Jiang Yanming had previously sat. "Ming, is it really okay for us to do this? It's just diarrhea, it's just a small problem to add, but it can tarnish her reputation. What's there to worry about? But is this really good? Think about it, since Jiang Yanming arrived, the disciples in the valley have lost their attention to us. If we don't let Jiang Yanming bear the blame, how can we damage her image? Well. Okay. I don't know who's so unlucky to get this medicine with added ingredients." After working hard for a while, the 2 quickly evacuated the scene. After Jiang Yanming returned, he did not notice Ni Duan and continued to take medicine. Jiang Yanming herself didn't know for whom this medicine was made, and it wasn't until her teacher returned that she found out that the medicine was made for Ji Hongsu. What? Is this medicine for him? Under Jiang Yanming's anger, he had the idea of pouring out the medicine that had taken half a day to cook. Giving a dog is better than giving it to him. In the end, Jiang Yanming still couldn't bear to take the medicine he had spent time preparing and didn't throw it away. And at the request of his teacher, Jiang Yanming personally delivered the medicine to Ji Hongsu's room. When Ji Hongsu received the decocted medicine, he stared at Jiang Yanming with a strange expression on his face. "Hey, what are you staring at me for?" Jiang Yanming was a bit scared, but she didn't do anything bad this time. "It's nothing. Judging from the expression on this little thing, there shouldn't be any poison inside the medicine." End of this chapter. Chapter 6. If you can't give me an explanation, then you can explain it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. If you can't give me an explanation, then you can leave it here. Although in Ji Hongsu's heart, Jiang Yanming is a foolish fool, she has always wanted to assassinate him. And he looked at the soup that was sent back and seemed to have a lighter color, and he felt something was not quite right. So, for safety reasons, Ji Hongsu requested Jiang Yanming to give him a taste of the medicine. Jiang Yanming couldn't believe it. Dog. No, Your Highness Prince Shen, why? I almost spoke my heart out. Ji Hongsu stared at her and said, my king's medicine needs to be tested by a dedicated person. This is not my king's mansion, so this job is entrusted to you, who delivers the medicine. Ji Hongsu got close to Jiang Yanming and said, Miss Jiang, you don't want the things you've committed to be publicized by me, do you? Jiang Yanming's face turned red when she was so close to Ji Hongsu. Not shy, but angry. This dog man is really too dog. Okay, I'll drink. Jiang Yanming fiercely gouged out Ji Hongsu and picked up the bowl filled with medicine. When it was delivered to her mouth, Jiang Yanming hesitated. What? I dare not drink. Is there a problem? Ji Hongsu smiled rather than smiled. That's not true, Jiang Yanming said with a bitter gourd on his face. Your medicine looks very bitter at first glance, and there is no desire to drink it at all. How about I help you? Ji Hongsu has no idea what it means to cherish fragrance and jade. Forget it, forget it. Jiang Yanming quickly refused and took a sip of the medicine in the spoon. Ah, it's so bitter. She personally boiled the medicine and naturally knew how many bitter herbs were added inside. By comparison, Huanlian is considered sweet. Jiang Yanming suppressed the urge to vomit and swallowed the decoction in her mouth. After drinking it, Jiang Yanming stared at Ji Hongsu and said, Hey, is it okay now? Wait a moment. After about a stick of incense. Jiang Yanming didn't have much reaction except for complaining. Is it because I overthink it? Seeing that Jiang Yanming was fine, Ji Hongsu's guard relaxed. Even if a fool drinks it, he shouldn't have any problems either. Jiang Yanming. Who are you saying is a fool? Ji Hongsu took the soup without blinking, and drank the soup from the bowl. Jiang Yanming was stunned. Even if she had any prejudice against Ji Hongsu, she had to say that Ji Hongsu was truly a man. The bitterness of this medicine is not something that ordinary people can tolerate, and as a result, the man's complexion did not change at all after drinking it. It's really too strong. The medicine has been delivered to you, I'll leave first. Jiang Yanming saw that there was only an empty bowl left, so he decided to run it away from this dog man. Go ahead. Ji Hongsu waved her hand, indicating that she could leave now. After Jiang Yanming walked to the door, he quietly made an international friendly gesture to someone inside. Humph, wait. As long as I don't die and get to the end, I'll bring the female lead to your grave and dance. After Jiang Yanming left, Ji Hongsu picked up a nearby teacup and poured tea into her mouth. The bitterness of this medicine is too strong. I just endured it in front of that fool for so long that I almost couldn't hold it. The embarrassing side should not be seen by that fool. When Ji Hongsu was drinking tea to relieve the bitterness, he suddenly felt a cramp in his abdomen, his hands were unstable for a moment, and his teacup fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. What's going on? Is tea and medicine incompatible? It's impossible. He drinks tea every time he finishes his medicine and has never had any problems. Is it that medicine, but didn't that fool also drink it? Why is she okay? Ji Hongsu's face turned pale, and the pain in her abdomen became increasingly severe. Unfortunately, due to poisoning, Ji Hongsu was unable to use her internal strength to solve the problem at this time. So His Highness Prince Shen had to rush towards the toilet in the valley. Jiang Yanming. You wait for me. Do you have anything to say? When Jiang Yanming learned that Ji Hongsu had been staying in the restroom all night due to abdominal pain, she initially gloated until Ji Hongsu approached her. What does this have to do with me? I'm just a medicine cook. Just because you cooked the medicine, shouldn't you be responsible for any problems? Ji Hongsu said confidently, I'll give you 3 days. If you can't give me an explanation, then you can leave it here. Ji Hongsu's seemingly casual glance made Jiang Yanming shiver all over. How could she forget that the man in front of her is the most gloomy and difficult villain boss in the whole book? Someone drugged him, this is hitting him at the muzzle. Okay. I will give the prince an explanation. Jiang Yanming said in a deep voice. This matter can be big or small, but Jiang Yanming knows that if she doesn't solve it well, she may really be in trouble. After leaving Ji Hongsu, Jiang Yanming went to find his second brother Jiang Zishu and told him about the situation. Who dares to plot against His Highness Prince Shen? For these officials and their children, this kind of thing is extremely sensitive. I understand, little sister. Brother will help you. The investigation of the ginger tree went smoothly. Most of the disciples in the valley are innocent, in other words, they have never experienced those intrigues. Jiang Zishu is at least from the government, and his playfulness is much stronger than that of these hermits. It only took one day for Jiang Zishu to lock up the suspect. First of all, you can rule out your senior brothers. They don't have that much free time, and they don't even have enough time to study their own prescriptions. Jiang Yanming nodded, naturally not suspecting the disciples of the divine Dr. Valley. Then there are the miscellaneous disciples. By investigating what you said. Tools for committing crimes and proof of absence. That's right, that's it. Jiang Zishu handed a package of medicinal powder to Jiang Yanming and said, it has been confirmed that it was done by them, but those two people bit and refused to admit it, and the evidence I have found cannot prove that it was done by them. It's already confirmed, isn't it? Jiang Yanming took the medicine package and opened it, revealing white powder inside. But they refused to admit it, and I have no choice, Jiang Zishu said helplessly. Jiang Yanming said, second brother, do you know what unnecessary means? If I say there is, it means there is. She is a malicious female supporting character. If this character is not used at this time, wouldn't it be a waste? End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Miss Ben is also a woman with cheats. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Miss Ben is also a woman with cheats. In the end, the two women who were putting food in the medicine cooked by Jiang Yanming were forced to confess their crimes by Jiang Yanming's unfounded move. This move is shameless as it does not necessarily have to be true, but it fits well with Jiang Yanming's malicious character. Under Jiang Yanming's kind words of persuasion, the two of them confessed their crimes one by one with their noses and tears. Upon hearing the reason why two women were poisoning the medicine they had cooked, Jiang Yanming was somewhat speechless. Is being popular also a mistake? Jiang Yanming reported the results to Ji Hongsu. After learning about the incident, Ji Hongsu only said a faint sentence. Mischievous mind, drive yourself out of the divine Dr. Valley. Those two women were crying and shouting that they didn't want to die, but if Ji Hongsu didn't cut them off, it would have been his greatest tolerance. How could they still cry and scream? So a farce quickly came to an end. The disciples in the valley have gained some new impressions of Jiang Yanming, a seemingly obedient neighbor sister. It seems that this sister is not as innocent and harmless as they imagined, as she was able to come up with such an unnecessary cunning move. Unnecessary, perhaps, this is a way of forcibly admitting guilt. Jiang Yanming's senior brothers were still struggling with his true image, and Jiang Yanming was already in front of Ji Hongsu. Your Highness, I wonder if you are satisfied. Well, it's pretty good. Ji Hongsu nodded. In fact, Ji Hongsu also felt that this move was quite malicious when there was no need for it. It seems that the rumors in the capital are true. The daughter of the Jiang family is terrifying. However, I still have a small problem. Ji Hongsu squinted his eyes and stared closely at Jiang Yanming. Jiang Yanming's heart was furrowed by Ji Hongsu's gaze. Usually, when this dog man looks at people with such eyes, he doesn't have any good intentions. Jiang Yanming was wary in his heart, but tried to put on a well-behaved look on his face and said, Your Highness, Prince Shen, please speak. Ji Hongsu gave her a disdainful glance. Really, pretending not to be distracted at all. You also drank my medicine, right? Why are you okay? Ji Hongsu asked her own doubts. To be honest, if it weren't for Jiang Yanming taking medicine and being fine, he wouldn't have been hit. His vigilance is still not enough, thinking that if this is the divine Dr. Valley, there won't be anyone plotting against him. Well, I don't know either. Jiang Yanming really doesn't know why the medicine that Ji Hongsu was hit by is fine. It can't be because she is immune to all kinds of poison, can it? Jiang Yanming carefully recalled that there was indeed content in this part in the original book. At that time, the original owner wanted to prescribe medicine to Jiang Yunxian, but he was discovered by Jiang Yunxian and treated him in his own way. However, strangely enough, the original owner was not hit in the end. This is a rare mishap by the female lead in the original plot of the book. The reason why Jiang Yanming can remember it is because it is a pit that the author did not fill in. Ji Hongsu tapped her thigh with her fingers and said, "Oh. Don't you know either?" Ji Hongsu actually wanted to test whether Jiang Yanming was truly invincible, and even prepared the poison. But in conscience Ji Hongsu glanced at the obedient Jiang Yanming. Forget it, he doesn't have a conscience. Let's give it a try. Ji Hongsu took out a packet of powder and poured it into a teacup. This is the poison that I personally made. Give it to me to drink. If you're okay, it means you're truly invincible. Is this dog man sick? Jiang Yanming is about to explode with anger. How could anyone drink poison directly? If I want to drink from you, I won't drink from you. Ji Hongsu chuckled and said, "Are you really not drinking? Don't think this can threaten me. Even if I jump off the mountain, Jiang Yanming won't drink." Jiang Yanming finished speaking and picked up Ji Hongsu's teacup. What is the effect of this poison? Is it harmful? Puff. Ji Hongsu couldn't help but feel that the speed of this little thing's heart was much faster than he had anticipated. This dog man is quite good. Looking Ji Hongsu's smile made Jiang Yanming a bit obsessed with flowers. My poison is not harmful. After taking it, it just makes my whole body itch. After using the antidote, there's no problem. There is an antidote, that's fine. Jiang Yanming drank the tea from Ji Hongsu's cup with a dying face, and it wasn't until she finished that she realized it. Is this cup used by a dog man? Shua. Jiang Yanming shook her hand and almost dropped the cup. Ji Hongsu also thought of this question, coughed lightly, and took the cup back into his hand. How is it? Do you feel it? Jiang Yanming was still immersed in the sadness of using the same teacup as the dog man when she heard Ji Hongsu's question and casually answered. Feeling. There's not much feeling. If there is, does it count as killing intent towards dog men? Ji Hongsu fell silent. He knows his poison himself, although the effect is simple, it is very difficult to cure. Ji Hongsu looked at Jiang Yanming with a somewhat complicated expression and said, "Is 100 poisons invincible? It's really enviable. If he had this physique, he might have less trouble." Hey, that doesn't mean anything. Jiang Yanming is a bit guilty. Does this unscientific physique really exist? She herself is a bit skeptical. At this moment, an old voice rang out in the room. Hee, that's not necessarily true. The teacher and father walked into the room with a smile. The teacher pointed at Jiang Yanming and said, "Actually, you are not the only one with a constitution that is invincible from all kinds of poisons. Your senior uncle, my junior sister, and your mother Yao Yusin are also invincible from all kinds of poisons. But she's not Jiang's biological daughter either. I know what you want to say, but your invincibility is also true." The teacher's father stated that he also did not know how Jiang Yanming's physique came about. Jiang Yanming was extremely excited. Although she was useless in practicing martial arts, God opened another window for her, and she was invincible from all kinds of poison. You should know that 30% of the house fights revolve around poison, and with this physique, she will avoid many troubles. Although there is no plot in the original book about Jiang Yanming's invincible physique, her divine perspective cannot play an advantage. But there is no doubt that being immune to all poisons will reduce Jiang Yanming's danger. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Finally sent the dog man away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Finally sent the dog man away. Ji Hongsu's gaze was complex. He didn't expect that the invincible constitution he longed for would be obtained by such a less intelligent woman. Is there anything else for the prince? If not, I'll go back. She needs to go back and wash her mouth quickly. She doesn't want to be involved with this dog man at all. Let's go, let's go. Ji Hongsu didn't have the mood to leave Jiang Yanming in his room anymore and waved to let her leave. After the incident between the prince and the laxatives passed, Jiang Yanming lived a peaceful life that he had long dreamed of. Don't worry about the halo influence from the female lead, don't have to engage in intrigue with dog men, just read a book every day, and live a simple but not rough rural life. After a month, Jiang Yanming gradually became familiar with her senior brothers. Senior brother, that dog man, is cunning and has a dark belly. He is ruthless and has no advantages except for his face. Second senior brother, it's her second brother Jiang Zishu, gentle and elegant, a gentleman like jade. Third senior brother Dongfang Daqiang is a tall and silly-looking person. Fourth senior brother Su Youyu has a cute doll face, but she doesn't look very smart. Little junior sister, also known as Jiang Yanming, is intelligent and clever, ancient and supernatural, sinking fish and falling geese, closing the moon and blushing the flowers. Everyone loves flowers when they bloom. Every day, except for Ji Hongsu, the senior brothers would be dragged by the second brother to explain the content of the book to her. Over time, Dongfang Daqiang and Su Youyu also gradually fell in love with this obedient little junior sister. With the original owner's medical knowledge as the foundation, Jiang Yanming's academic level in Xingfei Valley has steadily improved. In the words of her teacher, her current medical skills are no weaker than those of the imperial physicians in the palace. In fact, the best group of imperial physicians in the northern Xianguo were all from the Divine Doctor Valley. On this day, Jiang Yanming followed his third senior brother Dongfang Daqiang to practice identifying herbs. The two of them are on the back mountain of Xingfei Valley, which is the medicine garden of Xingfei Valley. Big Chang, I'm hungry. The name Dongfang Daqiang has a strong sense of discordance, and its charm suddenly disappeared, but it was the name chosen by the teacher's father. Third senior brother is an orphan who was adopted by his teacher and father since childhood. I don't know where the teacher's father made a mistake and came up with such a good name. Then let's go back to the valley and have second senior brother cook for you. Third senior brother chuckled and said, second senior brother's cooking is so delicious, little junior sister really likes it. Jiang Yanming nodded, and then they rushed back with the herbs they had collected today. On the way, they met their fourth senior brother Su Youyu. Ah! You guys are here. What's up, fourth senior brother? Jiang Yanming is so curious, but Su Youyu looks very anxious. Second senior brother asked me to tell you that senior brother has left. Su Youyu didn't know why he had to inform little sister about such a small matter, but second senior brother must have had his own deep intentions in doing so. Jiang Yanming was taken aback for a moment. Did the dog man leave? Jiang Yanming inexplicably felt his eyes moist. After waiting for so many days, he finally sent the dog man away. Ji Hongsu is here, and Jiang Yanming is worried. She can't even eat well, and can only cook one bowl of rice at a time. She's almost starving and thin. Now that this person has left, she finally doesn't have to worry about the threat from the villain anymore. Those two senior brothers, let's hurry back and have dinner. Su Youyu. How do you feel? Like the senior brother left and the junior sister is very happy. De Chang. The cook's soul, I want to cook. 10 kilometers away from the Divine Doctor Valley, Ji Hongsu looked in the direction of the valley and remained silent. Behind him are two people in black. If you come down late, the prince will make amends. No problem, the location of the Divine Doctor Valley is already confidential. Ji Hongsu said calmly. If the Divine Doctor Valley can really be found by his dark guards, then he will doubt the safety issues of the Divine Doctor Valley. During the time when I am not here, will there be any major events happening in the capital? Ji Hongsu asked. He was sent by his father to the border to support him 3 months ago, but on his way back to Beijing, he was ambushed by people from the western regions. Sooner or later, he will have to settle accounts with that group of people. However, the top priority is to first understand the situation in the capital. Lord Hui, there hasn't been any major event during your absence in the past few months. After some thought, there are some rumors in the community. Let's hear it. After listening to the narration of the Dark Guard, Ji Hongsu fell into contemplation. So, that fool is not the true daughter of the Duke's mansion. It's interesting. Stay overnight. I want to rush back to the capital immediately. Upon hearing the news of his senior brother's departure, Jiang Yanming was very sad and ate 2 more bowls of rice than usual. Jiang Zishu looked at Jiang Yanming, who was devouring food like a wolf, and felt a bit amused. He advised, eat slowly, I can't do without you. The food cooked by my second brother is very delicious. Jiang Yanming smiled and said. Speaking of which, Prince Shen has left, are you so happy? What exactly did he do to you? Jiang Zishu was very curious. Normally, his younger sister and Prince Shen had no interaction. How could he feel that there seemed to be something he didn't know about the story between these two people? No, second brother, you must have misread. Little sister, even if you lie, you're not careful. You almost wrote the word happy on your face. But since Jiang Yanming doesn't want to say much, his brother won't ask much. Okay, you eat slowly and don't choke. Brother is the best. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Miss Ben is also going to be deported back. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Miss Ben is also going to be deported back. Jiang Zishu always feels that something is wrong with his sister. Is his sister so cute? Jiang Yanming didn't know that the daily interactions between the original owner and his brothers were completely based on his own ideas. However, although it does not conform to the original owner's malicious character, due to Jiang Yunxian's return, Jiang Zishu attributed all of this to it. Well, although my younger sister doesn't look like her anymore, she seems to be even better. After dinner, Jiang Zishu went to wash the dishes, while Jiang Yanming followed his fourth senior brother Youyu to study. Second brother, can't I really practice martial arts? Jiang Yanming is somewhat reluctant to give up. You should know that the female protagonist has the highest level of martial arts in the entire book. If she doesn't have any martial arts skills, one day if she confronts the female protagonist, the posture she sends may not be very attractive. Didn't Master say that? You have a rare physique in 1,000 years. Jiang Zishu is also very helpless. His own sister is a useless piece of wood, and he is also very difficult to handle. Once in 1,000 years. Is junior sister so powerful? It's a once-millennium waste. Jiang Yanming has lost interest in this. It can be seen that Youyu is holding back a smile. Speaking of which, second brother, what is the general situation of Prince Shen's martial arts? Jiang Yanming asked. Ji Hongsu only had a chance to take action in the later stage, and by that time he was already one of the top experts. The only one who could stabilize him was the female lead. The martial arts realm in this book has a total of 4 levels, namely acquired, innate, extreme martial, and heavenly martial. Ji Hongsu, at the later boss level, is in the extremely martial realm, which is rarely compared to opponents in the martial arts world. Even his master is only in the extremely martial realm. The Tianwu realm only exists in legends, and even in the grand finale, Jiang Yunxian did not reach the level of Tianwu. Senior brother. Prince Shen is a rare martial arts prodigy, but he was already an innate master in his weak crown year. Congenital. Why is he so strong? The innate experts are already the strong ones in this book, because the extreme martial arts realm is mostly at the level of senior teachers and fathers, and they are hardly born. Jiang Yanming. Jealousy has left me completely unrecognizable. Through understanding, Jiang Yanming also learned about the situation of her other senior brothers, all of whom were masters after birth. Why don't you ask Master? Master is so powerful, there will always be a way. Su Youyu gave suggestions. It would have been possible long ago. Jiang Yanming has no hope. If her teacher had a solution, she would have solved it for her long ago. It's okay, my brothers will protect you, Jiang Zishu comforted Jiang Yanming. Hope so, as long as her brothers don't have Yunxian and forget Yanming, she thinks she can still live very safely. Half a month later. The teacher and father called Jiang Yanming to the front to examine her learning achievements. With the help of his senior brothers, Jiang Yanming successfully passed the teacher's test. Well, not bad. Although I haven't studied for long, the effect is still good. In the eyes of his teacher and father, although Jiang Yanming's medical skills may seem immature, they are already enough to arrogate to those famous doctors in the secular world. It's all thanks to our senior brothers. Since you have learned almost everything, you can go back now. Okay. What? After Jiang Yanming realized it, she widened her eyes in disbelief. Going back? Going back where? Of course you're going back to your own home, the teacher's father said naturally. Otherwise, where else would you go? But I'm not the daughter of the Jiang family either, how can I go back? She finally found an opportunity to avoid the female lead, how could she possibly go back and cause trouble for herself? It's a message from your father that he wants you to return to the capital. As a teacher, he's just passing on the message on his behalf. Your second senior brother may know more about the specific situation. You can ask him about it. Returning from his teacher's father, Jiang Yanming felt as if he had lost his soul. Jiang Yanming felt like she had lost her direction in life. She was trying so hard to avoid the female lead, so why did God still send her back? Jiang Yanming found Jiang Zishu and inquired about the reason why Duke Jiang called her back. The Empress Dowager held a flower appreciation banquet in half a month, Jiang Zishu explained to Jiang Yanming with a smile. The Crown Prince will also be present at that time. Aren't you the one who loves the Crown Prince the most? Father has summoned you back. And next month you will have to perform the Jili ceremony, which happens to be together. Flower Appreciation Banquet. The Crown Prince Jiang Yanming remembered that there was a love letter in this drama. The flower feast was the first time the original protagonist and the female protagonist faced each other head-on, but of course, the original protagonist was completely defeated. And it was at this time that the male lead Ji Xingfei began to pay attention to the female lead, who interested him. Thinking of Crown Prince Ji Hongsu, Jiang Yanming felt a bit embarrassed. If I remember correctly, what the original owner liked was Ji Hongsu, which caused quite a stir. At that time, a young lady from the Shangshu mansion was only given an extra glance by Ji Hongsu. The original owner sent someone to beat that young lady up and she couldn't get out of bed for half a month, using cruel and heinous methods. Therefore, Ji Hongsu detests the original owner and does not like the malicious original owner at all. The original owner had no self-awareness and used the power of the Jiang family to drive away many women around Ji Hongsu, which made Ji Hongsu even more disgusted. After recalling, Jiang Yanming felt a headache and said to Jiang Zishu, "Second brother, can I not go back?" "Why not go back? Aren't you your favorite, your highness the crown prince?" Jiang Zishu expressed confusion. "But after all, I am no longer the daughter of the government, so attending the noble concubine's flower viewing banquet may be a loss of status." Jiang Yanming tried hard to find reasons not to return to the Jiang family. Little sister, you don't have to worry. You will always be the daughter of the Jiang family, and this will never change. Jiang Yanming rolled her eyes in her heart, realizing that the most unreliable thing in this world is eternity. If it weren't for Jiang Yanming passing by, the original owner's temperament would sooner or later have defeated everyone in the Jiang mansion's favor. In the end, Jiang Yanming had no choice but to agree, pack up and prepare to go back. I always feel that this trip back will encounter very troublesome dungeons. End of this chapter. Chapter 10 Youyu. I want to inherit family business. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Youyu. I want to inherit family business capital, Prince Shen's mansion. It took Ji Hongsu some time to clean up the backlog of things in the royal palace in the past few months. After returning to Beijing, he specifically inquired about Jiang Yanming's situation and confirmed the relationship between Jiang Yanming and Jiang Yunxian. But that fool is somewhat different from the rumored malice in the market. Ji Hongsu picked up a secret letter at hand and squinted his eyes after reading its contents. Yuhengzai. Selling various antique treasures, jewelry, and clothing. The dark guard next to Ji Hongsu didn't know why the prince was interested in such a treasure house, but he still explained it to Ji Hongsu. Lord Hui, Yuhengzai has been appearing in the treasure pavilion of the capital in the past month. The antique treasures in it are very popular in the upper echelons of the capital, and the jewelry and clothing sold are also some novel styles. Oh. Do you know who is behind this Yuheng studio? Lord Hui, the owner behind Yuhengzai, is very mysterious, and no one has seen that person yet. Stay tuned, let me know if there's any news. Yes. Is there anything else? Ji Hongsu collected the secret letter and casually asked. Yes, the Empress Dowager has recently held a flower appreciation banquet, inviting many young masters and ladies from the capital, and has also sent you an invitation. Can I still say this kind of thing? Just throw it away. Ji Hongsu hates gatherings with impure purposes the most. He doesn't want to be surrounded by a group of birds, and swallows. Obey me. The dark guard turned around and wanted to leave. Ji Hongsu seemed to remember something and stopped the dark guard. Wait, who will be present at Duke Zhang's house? Will that fool arrive? After all, she is no longer the daughter of the Jiang family. I heard that both the daughters of the Jiang family will be present. I understand, you can go down. By the way, leave the invitation. Although the dark guard was puzzled, he still left the invitation for the noble concubine's flower viewing banquet on Ji Hongsu's desk. Ji Hongsu opened the invitation and said, "Is it interesting whether the Jiang family is genuine or fake?" Ji Hongsu felt as if he could plan some benefits from it. At the same time, there is a wilderness 800 miles outside the capital city. Fourth senior brother, let's stop and take a break. This place has rugged mountain roads, and Jiang Yanming is not very good at riding horses, so the physical bumps along the way almost shattered her buttocks. Line. Youyu pulled the reins and stopped. There is no carriage in the Divine Doctor Valley, only a horse, and this horse is not considered a good horse. After all, those who need to use horseback riding in the valley are proficient in lightness skills, while those who do not know lightness skills generally go too far. Jiang Yanming is the exception who cannot learn lightness skills and still has to walk a long way. Jiang Zishu did not return to Beijing with him this time, but instead asked Youyu to accompany Jiang Yanming. Coincidentally, Youyu was also going back to Beijing with him. Speaking of which, fourth senior brother, why do you have to go back with me? Jiang Yanming doesn't remember Youyu being such a prominent figure in the capital. I've been staying in the valley all along, so little junior sister doesn't know that I'm normal either. Think carefully, which family in the capital is surnamed Su? Jiang Yanming carefully recalled, everyone surnamed Su. Marquis of Xingfei. Su Youyu nodded. So, fourth senior brother, you are the youngest son of the Marquis of Xingfei who was sent to the mountain for cultivation since childhood. The young son of the Marquis of Xingfei has been weak and sickly since childhood, so the Marquis of Xingfei sent him to the mountain for cultivation, but no one knew that this mountain was actually the Divine Doctor Valley. No wonder Jiang Yanming couldn't remember it. The Marquis's mansion in Xingfei has always been low-key. If it weren't for Su Youyu's reminder, she wouldn't have remembered it. In the plot of the original book, the protagonist, out of hatred towards Jiang Yunxian for taking his own life, has been trying every means to target her. Throughout, he has never been to the Divine Doctor Valley, so he has not had the opportunity to meet his fourth senior brother. Thinking of this, Jiang Yanming felt a little relieved. What sets her apart from the original owner is that she not only went to the Divine Doctor Valley, but also learned advanced medical skills, which is enough for self-protection. She is much stronger than the main character in the original book at this time. Well, I only returned to Beijing once during the Chinese New Year in recent years, and I don't know what the current situation in Beijing is like. Su Youyu sighed and said. My parents' main purpose when I go back this time is to show my face at the flower appreciation banquet of the Empress Dowager, to get to know other young masters and ladies, so that I won't go back to the valley in the future. After all, he still has a family business to inherit, and going up the mountain is only for the purpose of curing illness. Jiang Yanming remembered something. You rarely return to Beijing, right? Well, yes, what's going on? No wonder Su Youyu, a person from the capital, is unaware of Jiang Yanming's notorious reputation. It turns out that she spent less time in the capital. It's okay. Fourth senior brother, what I mean is if you hear anything bad about me outside, it must be false, it's just a rumor. Don't believe it, you know. Okay, senior brother knows. Of course, senior brother trusts junior sister. Humph, don't break your promise. As she was about to arrive in the capital, Jiang Yanming had a sudden idea. She wanted to go to the Jiang family's villa outside the city to take a look. Although those Zhuangzi would once become her property, they have nothing to do with her now, but she still wants to go and take a look. Mainly because in her memory, the female lead had already started her career at this time, and her third brother Jiang Zishua, who had thick eyebrows and big eyes, had also defected to the enemy. She wanted to see how the female lead's big career was going. Su Youyu had no objection to this and followed Jiang Yanming to the Jiang family's estate. The servants of the Jiang family all know Jiang Yanming. Although Jiang Yanming is no longer the true daughter of the Jiang family at this time, Duke Jiang does not deny her identity, and she is still a young lady of the Duke's mansion. Jiang Yanming led Su Youyu into the village, and from afar, he could hear a loud voice chattering. End of this chapter.